In other news we're following for you, China's Air Force has been training female pilots for 6 decades. But women flying one of the world's most lethal fighter jets are a fairly recent development, and they're breaking barriers. Reporter Han Bin was given a rare access to the 4 female fighter pilots who are conquering the skies with their skill and determination.
They are some of the toughest pilots in China. They are the Air Force's first group of female fighter pilots. They belong to the Airborne Honor Guard's the August 1st AEROBATIC team. Flying one of the world's most lethal warplanes sets them apart from others their age.
我觉得这个职业它是男人干的事业。
This career used to be completely dominated by men. Previously, all female pilots in the PLA Air Force flew transport aircraft, but no female pilots had ever flown fighter jets in China. And that's a big challenge for us in our lifetime.
He Xiaoli told us the 4 women have flown 4 types of planes, including second and third generation Chinese fighter jets. All of them have logged nearly 1,000 hours of flying time. The Air Force first recruited female fighter pilots in 2005. Only 16 made it through the grueling 4-year training. In 2013, He Xiaoli and 3 others were chosen by the Air Force aerobatic team to fly the J-10.
刚开始到北岸队飞行的时候，前期因为胳膊上力量的不够，可能在修正动作上面，然后。
When I first flew the J-10, there were a lot of corrections to my flying, as my arms were not strong enough. I then realized that flying a fighter jet requires not only superb technique, but also physical strength. I did a lot of physical training to build up my arms. It made it easier to fly a smooth formation with male pilots later on.
China enrolled its first female pilots in 1951. Since then, more than 500 women have flown for the Air Force. The 4 female pilots had their J-10 debut at the Air Show China in November 2014. And in March 2015, they gave a stunt show in Malaysia for the 13th Langkawi International Maritime Aerospace Exhibition. It was their first international performance. All 4 pilots trained for the 2015 parade to mark the 70th anniversary of the victory of the Second World War. He Xiaoli was one of the 2 chosen for the parade debut with their male counterparts in the flight pass over Tiananmen Square.
I have to say all the 4 female pilots are working very hard. Although they can't compare with male pilots in terms of physical strength, they have managed to do the same with hard training. For example, a complete turnaround maneuver takes a lot of strength for precision formation. Now they can do it almost as well as we can.
Independently designed and developed by China, the J-10 fighter jets have become the major aircraft of the aerobatic team. Jets are a challenge for any pilot to fly, and the participation of the female pilots is yet another sign that the People's Liberation Army Air Force is developing rapidly. The 4 women were in the 2009 parade to mark National Day. At that time, they were flying K-8 trainer planes. The memory is still fresh in the mind of JIALI. She says much has changed since then.
Compared with the J-10 fighters we're using now, the Ka trainer plane was like a toy. To me, the biggest challenge is physical strength. Operating at high altitudes needs a strong physique as well as mastery of technology. It's not as simple as what you learn on the ground.
The J-10 is the third generation of Chinese fighters. It has more advanced systems of aviation, firepower, and communications. But the biggest changes are the thinking behind the military hardware.
I think the biggest change is that the Air Force has been under constant reforms to improve its capabilities. It has been very inclusive in innovation. It takes a growing number of female soldiers. This signals that it wants to build a more balanced and stronger Air Force.
The need for female pilots is increasing in China's ambitious Air Force modernization drive. Many believe it highlights a rising role of women in the military and a growing number of female astronauts in the future.
I think the biggest challenge is still being a female pilot. I'm married and I want to have a child. I hope I can continue flying fighter jets after I give birth. That could be the biggest challenge in my life, but I'm ready for that.
He Xiaoli has never thought of giving up ever since she was selected to be a pilot. She believes strength alone does not determine a top pilot, and the sky is not the limit. The takeoff of female pilots represents a new era for the PLA Air Force. Chairman Mao said women hold up half the sky. For these women, that's just the start.